Hey, yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and to the latest wrestling news, keeping you up to date with the recent news or rumors and reports. Coming up, we're talking everything that went down on this week's Monday Night Raw, Vince McMahon brand new rule when it comes to matches, and why we got that Jeff Hardy retirement match, backstage news in regards to that Monday Night Raw debut that we got, big update in regards to John Cena and potential future plans in WWE, and much more. Before we get into it though, make sure that you guys hit those notifications, and of course, if you want even more wrestling content, consider subscribing to this and our second channel. Starting off with some news following this week's Monday Night Raw, it looks like Vince McMahon got a brand new rule, which could explain why we ended up getting that Jeff Hardy retirement match last night without them even advertising for it or building towards it, because you know, typical creative booking in WWE. So Jeff Hardy somewhat surprisingly put his career on the line on this past episode of Monday Night Raw during an impromptu matchup with Cedric Alexander. It seems like there's a good reason for that, and no, it's not that Jeff Hardy's gonna be retiring or leaving WWE. Reports indicate that Vince McMahon no longer wants cold matches on his show, so they needed to have a reason for Jeff Hardy having this match with Cedric Alexander, since they're not really feuding, although they did face each other last week for no apparent reason. So I guess this week Vince actually wanted a reason. Reports from WrestleTalks indicate that this means that Vince McMahon wants all WWE matches to have stakes, to have a reason for it, with the report noting that Vince McMahon doesn't just want to have matches for the sake of having a match, which is why Jeff Hardy added that stipulation during a promo before the match. And yes, credit to Vince McMahon on this, because WWE is often criticized for having meaningless matches and meaningless rematches, so this could ultimately fix the problem of WWE giving us matches that don't feel important. The hilarious thing about all of this is that we're talking about a retirement match just to give us a real reason for actually giving us a match. A retirement match should be a match that we get for a feud to end, not for a feud to start, which Cedric Alexander versus Jeff Hardy is probably going to keep happening for the next 10 weeks. Where does WWE go from here? Jeff Hardy's probably going to lose to Cedric Alexander again, and then it's not going to mean anything. I didn't mind seeing the match, but again, it's a bit contradicting. If you're going to have a retirement match, at least actually put a storyline behind it so that it can mean something when we're actually watching it, so that we could have fear of Jeff Hardy retiring because maybe you already made Cedric Alexander a legit opponent for him. That is just my 2 cents on it. Sticking with Monday Night Raw, we ended up getting the debut of Eva Marie, or not really, because it was Piper Niven debut match on Monday Night Raw instead. And we got some backstage news in regards to this. Fightful Select indicates that Piper Niven debuting alongside Eva Marie was the plan as of the weekend, but that was actually cancelled before Monday Night Raw. However, those plans were obviously reinstated and Piper ended up debuting on the show. So this seems to be a late decision made probably on Monday morning, right before WWE posted those previews. Due to the rapid changing nature of Raw, Fightful indicated that it was unclear whether or not she was going to be debuting on the show, but obviously she did, and she ended up beating Naomi. The report also notes that the name Doudrop has been considered for Piper Niven, which was why she was nameless on the show this week. I guess they haven't made that decision just yet. Niven is obviously an experienced wrestler, has been part of NXT UK, and she has been training on the WWE Performance Center for quite a while now, even apparently training next to Eva Marie. But with creative team almost canceling her debut, really put into question whether or not they're gonna keep all of this going, or this is just part of Eva Marie just trying to avoid wrestling, because that is her gimmick after all. We got some latest news in regards to John Cena, because of course that return is set to happen, but we just don't know when, and it looks like John Cena is kind of teasing that he cannot wait for it to happen. During an interview with Chris Van, he indicated that he is very much looking forward to wearing his wrestling gear again because it has been too long. He went on to agree that it is just a matter of when not a matter of whether or not he is coming back, because he will be coming back. As we obviously reported before, WWE is planning on having John Cena main event SummerSlam in August, with his potential opponent being Roman Reigns. As for that potential return and exact date, we don't necessarily know, but WWE is also looking to have him return on July 16 episode of SmackDown, as that is the first day that WWE is back on the Raw and the fans will be there. Going back to Roman Reigns, John Cena says something very interesting, which could lead to him ultimately turning heel and actually giving us something that we've been waiting for quite a while. John Cena suggested that WWE higher-ups could be willing to turn him heel now, considering how Roman Reigns has become a definite star since returning at SummerSlam 2020. John Cena stated the following, and I quote, "As WWE invests and builds its roster, it has a wealth of talent and truly has many anchors to the ship now. Certainly, with Roman Reigns being a very marketable and definite star, I think the reason for me not to explore that side, the heel side, is because WWE didn't feel confident they had any alternatives as top babyface, and I respect that business choice, I really do. But now, with them really laying their foundation for the future, setting up life for the next decade or so, maybe, I don't know." End quote. So John Cena is basically indicating that when Roman Reigns turns babyface, maybe then it's gonna be his time to finally turn heel, even if it is just for a bit. Obviously, all of that might not be happening now because WWE has so many plans for Roman Reigns before he even turned babyface, but this is certainly some interesting comments from John Cena. We already know that WWE didn't want to turn him babyface because it will be a move that they will be losing money, but with John Cena now not being the top babyface in there because he is busy with Hollywood, making a return and possibly building to a heel turn for him will be great. Some quick recap for this week's Monday Night Raw. WWE started off with Nikki Cross defeating Charlotte Flair by countout. So Nikki Cross streaks continue, although she hasn't pinned anybody yet. We had John Morrison defeating Jeff Hardy, but Jeff Hardy wasn't done there just yet because he put his career on the line against Cedric Alexander, who was by ringside during his first match, and of course took a part in Jeff Hardy losing. That second match for Jeff was set up. He then goes on to defeat Cedric Alexander. We had the massive debut of Eva Marie. She obviously didn't compete. We had Piper Nevins defeating Naomi, and personally I think that this was a good debut for Piper, and Naomi also ended up looking good, except of course I don't think she should have been the one jobbing over here. They could have done this with somebody else instead of Naomi, but yet again who, because we already know that women's division is not that strong anyways. We had RK Bro defeating the New Day in tag team competition. Really good match. Another good match was also Rhea Ripley defeating Asuka. She then got into a brawl with Charlotte Flair to hype up their match at Hell in a Cell, which by the way is this Sunday. Yes, this was a go-home show. It didn't even feel like it, right? I know. Nowadays, WWE does that. We had Alexa Bliss defeating Nia Jax, but by disqualification due to the interference of Reginald. I would have loved to see Alexa Bliss pick up the victory here. I don't think it would have hurt Nia Jax at all, but nonetheless, Reginald got involved in it, and then he got a little bit possessed by Alexa Bliss before she walked off. We had Jackson Ryker defeating Elias by countout, so this was literally the same match that we got last week, the same results that we got last week, and nothing was added. I'm expecting we're gonna see this match like 20 times in the next 3 months just because. We had Drew McIntyre defeating AJ Styles by disqualification because of course this led into a 6-way tag team match. So for the main event, we got Drew McIntyre and the Viking Raiders defeating Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, and Omos. This probably shouldn't have ended the way it did though. Bobby Lashley was the one eating the pinfall against Drew McIntyre, which gives Drew McIntyre a lot of momentum heading into Hell in a Cell, but you don't gotta pin the champion. We're talking about a 6-way tag team match up here. Somebody else could have taken that pinfall instead of Bobby. Anyways guys, that is what went down on this week's Monday Night Raw. bro. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And make sure to hit an elbow drop if you enjoy all of the wrestling news coverage. I'll catch you guys on the next one, so stay savage.